Hey, everybody. Hope you are doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. To you dads, hope you had a fabulous Father's Day. We get you ready for a pivotal game tonight in the NBA Finals with the series tied at 2-2. Indiana is at Oklahoma City. Big trade in the NBA, and you got to wonder what this means for the Memphis Grizzlies with sending the talented Desmond Bane to Orlando. How about the Knicks? Unbelievable. You have Tom Thibodeau, and now you're going to interview Mike Brown. You're also going to interview Taylor Jenkins. I mean, unbelievable. Seriously, incredible. The Knicks are a mess because they have a horrible owner. They'd be better to just say, you know what, we made a mistake. We're bringing back Tom Thibodeau. Tibbs will give you a raise. Come coach the Knicks again. Seriously, amazing. U.S. Open, incredible 4 days at Oakmont, where the winner was the golf course. Incredible. That's golf. I wonder if you're an 18 handicapper, you probably wouldn't break 200 on that golf course. First of all, you'd lose your ball if you didn't hit the fairway because you don't have spotters out there. So that's the first thing. You would never be able to find your ball. Never. If I were going to play that course, I would tee off, assuming that there's no water in front of me, or I would tee off with my hybrid on every single hole. I would not, because I'm not good enough. I would not use my driver. Even my 3-wood, I would probably keep in my bag. So incredible. Absolutely incredible. Hello to Waddy's son. Great to have you here on the stream. Fraternity brother, Dave Watkins. Awesome. So good, Desmond Bane. Worth it. He is really good. There's no question. Chris says, what's up from Louisville? What are my thoughts on the Orlando and Memphis trade? It's really good for Orlando in the short term. They're made to win right now. They're a good team. They have a very special player in Paolo Banchero. So you add Desmond Bane to that mix. I want to know what the domino effect is for Memphis. I know that Memphis has got a bad locker room, and they have a culture that needs to be changed. And you have to wonder now if this means they're open to saying goodbye to Ja Morant, who's been a headache, a big-time headache, albeit very talented. You got to remember, I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies were rolling right along for the first 2/3 of the season. And then right before the end of the regular season, they fire Taylor Jenkins. They got swept in the first round by Oklahoma City, although they did play spirited basketball in games 3 and 4 at home. But you have to wonder what's going on there. You have to wonder what's going on there. But they don't have a good locker room. That I can tell you. They do not have a good locker room. So is this step 1 of step 2 and step 3 for the Memphis Grizzlies? Could very well be. Again, we're very happy to be here on this early edition before Game 5 in Oklahoma City. And always great to have our sponsors, New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. They're available around the clock 24/7 for your plumbing needs and repairs. Give them a call. Go to their website. You can also use newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com, New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. Don't forget about Bennett's. If you are looking for a great lunch, great dinner, prime seafood and steaks, whether it's Sacramento, Roseville, or the West Side Grill in Rockland, you go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com to make a reservation. That's Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Prime seafood and steaks at Bennett's. Bennett'sRestaurants.com to make a reservation. All right, what do you want to talk about today? Again, I'm not doing a long show. What do I think about the Giants trade? Here's what I think. Devers wanted out of Boston. All right. There are red flags with this guy. He is very talented. I think for the Giants, it's great. I mean, you're off to a tremendous start. You're right in the mix with the Dodgers and the Padres. But I don't see how there's anything wrong with this trade if you're a Giants fan. I mean, the guy's one of the top hitters in all of baseball, and you now have him in your ballpark. I mean, he didn't want to play third, then they move him to first, then at DH. I mean, I don't know if he's a malcontent, if a change of scenery is going to fix all of that, but he's unbelievably talented. That is for sure. You know? Hey, Patrick, how are you? Yeah. How about that? Nope. The Knicks had no plan that was definitive when they fired Tom Thibodeau. How about that? Have I heard anything about possible Kings trades or rumors? I don't pay attention to any rumors when it comes to trades because 99% of them never happen. So I don't even pay attention to that. I think the Kings will be active. They don't have a first round draft pick as it stands. That could change between now and the draft coming up. But right now, they're only going to be able to fix their team via free agency and trades. Do I think they'll be active? I do think they'll be active. I do. They have to. I mean, they're not relevant in the West right now. They're not. And I can tell you for a fact that there were a lot of rumblings after the season from some of the players, most notably DeMar DeRozan. Patrick, good point. The Yanks did do it with Billy Martin. They did. Absolutely. To me, Russell Westbrook would be a Band-Aid. The Kings don't need a Band-Aid. They need to fix it. I don't see, to me, if I'm Sacramento, I'm trying to build something that's sustainable. That's not going to happen with Russell Westbrook. So for me personally, I wouldn't do it. It's a stopgap measure. You don't need a stopgap measure. You don't. You just don't. And the sad thing is, you look at their poor draft picks, not all, but some recently. I'm not talking about the history of the franchise. I'm talking about recently. You don't have Tyrese Halliburton. You traded him. You do have Sabonis, but you don't have Halliburton. You don't have Fox anymore. You have Zach LaVine. I mean, you've made some moves that are questionable to say the least. Although, Sabonis is a very good player. I mean, we can never just forget about that. The guy's very, very talented, but he's not the quarterback. Big difference. Big difference. So if I'm looking at Sacramento, their roster's just a bunch of pieces. It's not a puzzle. It doesn't fit together. It doesn't fit together. That's something that you have to do if you're Scott Perry. You've got to make this thing fit. Right now, it's just a bunch of pieces. What's going to happen with Keegan Murray? Is he going to be used in a trade? I mean, if you're going to make a trade, you're not just going to have a team give you something. You're going to have to give up. How does Devin Carter play into the future? I mean, when you look at how good Davion Mitchell developed, another move that you raise your eyebrows over. I mean, he was tremendous in Miami. Tremendous. So, again, if you're a Kings fan, it's just more frustration because you see the same thing time and time again. All right, I want to talk about the U.S. Open. For you golfers out there and golf fans, do you like that or do you not like that? Do you like a course that is so difficult that you see the Rory McIlroys of the world throwing their golf clubs? I love it. I look forward to the U.S. Open every year. It's at Shinnecock Hills next year, which is another incredible 18-hole layout on Long Island in New York. Phenomenal golf course. But I love it. I love watching golf at its truest test. You missed the fairway, probably going to cost you a stroke. You missed the green, going to be an issue, right? That rough, oof. Again, I really mean that. I normally shoot when I'm playing on a regular basis, consistently in the mid 80s. Sometimes I'll, hover around 80, but I'm generally around, for most golf courses, like 83 to 88. All right. If I were to play at Oakmont, I wouldn't break 150. There's just no way. There's not a chance. I mean, when you see the best golfers in the world for four days at 10 over, 15 over, 20 over, when you see the best golfers after 2 rounds at 10 over, when you see Bryson DeChambeau and others not able to make the cut not even close to par, I wouldn't break 150. Said lots of wind out there. Forget about the wind. You could play in pristine conditions and I wouldn't break 150. No chance. And again, I really mean this. I would not tee off with I would leave my driver wherever. I would just leave it. Depending on how comfortable I was with my 3-wood, I might, but I don't care if I hit the ball 180 to 200 as long as it's on the short grass. I would play every par 4 as if it were a par 6. I mean that. I'm not exaggerating. I would play every par 4 as if it were a par 6. I might have a chance to break 150, assuming I could reach the fairway from the tee box with my hybrid. I would tee off every single hole like that, and I would play all par 4s as if they're par 6s. My goal would be to be 2 over on every hole. That would be my goal. All right. For instance, the 300-yard par 3, the 301, based on the surrounding rough around the green, I would play that as a par 5. I would probably tee off. I would tee off on that hole with my 8-iron, maybe 9-iron, and go short iron, and hope I hit the green and hope I 3-putt. That's how I would play that hole. Seriously. That's the only chance that you would have that I would have, in my opinion, of breaking 150. Because I'm just telling you, if you miss the fairway without having a spotter out there, you would never find your ball. That's number one. Assuming that you had people out there, let's say you had a caddy, a 4 caddy, and they were able to do that. All right. Assuming you could find your ball, the majority of us would take multiple strokes to get the ball out of the rough. That was unfreaking believable. Seriously. That was incredible. Love that. Absolutely love that. All right, what are your thoughts? Who wins the game tonight? Indiana, Oklahoma City. For all these people on TV and other talking about momentum, there is no momentum in the playoffs. I listen to Stephen A. Smith. They have the momentum now. They don't have any momentum, Oklahoma City. Did they have momentum when they went to Minnesota up 2-0 and they lost by 40 plus? Stop it. Did they have momentum against Denver? I mean, it's stupid. There is no momentum. Every game is its own entity. Every game has its own flair to it. Not in momentum. There's no momentum in the playoffs. I just don't understand that. It's a cop-out. It's a laziness in terms of your analysis. If you were really going to analyze things, you'd realize that, in the Knicks-Pacers series, there was no momentum. Did the Knicks have momentum when they were up 2-0 going into New York in probably the craziest, hardest ticket to get in 25 years when the Celtics went into Madison Square Garden after the Knicks had the momentum from winning games 1 and 2 in Boston and got steamrolled? Was that momentum? Stop it. Did the Celtics have momentum after destroying the Knicks in Game 3 and Game 4? No, the Knicks won that game. It's stupid. Stupid. Noah's got OKC today in Indiana in Game 6. I think it will go 7. I had OKC in 6 before the series, but I think it's going 7 now. I don't disagree with that. I hope so. Be great to have a Game 7. Hey, don't forget about Sunrise Landing in Calusa. Go to CalusaSunrise.com. That is CalusaSunrise.com. Check out their beautiful models. Remember, no Mellorews, no homeowners, adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. This is a Blazona development project. You go to CalusaSunrise.com and you get all the information. Remember, easy to get to with I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20. That's CalusaSunrise.com and Sunrise Landing. All right, I will not be joining Rhino on the post-game show tonight, but Ryan will be right here on If You Don't Like That with the post-game. So get your phone calls ready, your text messages, and everything else. I am actually going to be off the next couple of days. I will be back for shows Thursday and Friday, and but will not be here the next couple of days. So keep that in mind. Rhino, though, will have Jerry Reynolds on tomorrow on the King's Court. That's at 3 o'clock. Also talk about this game tonight on the post-game show. So we've got a busy week for you right here on If You Don't Like That. And, of course, the next show is tonight right after the Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. When I look at the landscape of the NBA right now, with Oklahoma City in particular, I'm talking about Western Conference teams, they are set up so well for a long period that's got to be kind of scary in a way if you're trying to build something to compete against them. You know, I'm looking at San Antonio. I'm looking at Houston. We don't know about Kevin Durant. He'll help a team for a year for sure, assume he doesn't get hurt. You look at the teams in flux like the Warriors, the Clippers, and the Lakers. You look at the teams like Portland that look like they're reloading and close to being good again. The Spurs, you know, the Rockets were already good last year. Denver's not going anywhere because they have Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Memphis, you don't know about. I mean, you just don't yet. But, boy, the West. Dallas is going to be really good in all likelihood. Phoenix, to me, is another team in flux. I'm not sold on Phoenix. We never know about New Orleans. Boy, I'll tell you, the West is unfreaking believable. You know? Incredible. They're doing the home intros on ABC tonight. It's been awful, you know? Been awful. Mike, I already talked about the Giants and the Red Sox trade. You can go back at your leisure and watch towards the beginning of the show. I mean, I didn't analyze it in great terms, Mike, but I mean, it's great for the Giants for right now. I mean, Devers does have some red flags. I mean, you can't ignore that. Is he going to be totally happy in San Francisco? I would think so. It's a great environment in a great ballpark. I can't say great city anymore because it's certainly not that, but it's a lot different than Boston, that's for sure. And they seem to have a great culture in San Francisco. So we'll see. Adam Silver is the reason it's been awful. I don't think Adam Silver has any input into what goes on in the telecast. So I don't know about that. If you're talking about the games themselves, I think the style of play throughout the entire season is a problem with, you know, so much three-point shooting. I do think that's an issue. That's an issue. And I don't know how you, if you're not going to change the rules, then I don't know how you fix that. Like it's not going to change on its own, right? If you're not going to change the rules that we watch in terms of three-point shooting and things of that nature, if you're not going to make some changes, the play is going to remain the same. I didn't see that the Broncos got fined for not putting up the Pride Month colors on the website. That right there is what's wrong with America, period. It's right there. Did they really, Cody? I didn't see that. Cody, weren't there 6, 7, 8 teams that said we're not doing anything extra for Pride Month, right? So what's my thoughts on the Kings coaching staff after all the new hires? Nothing. The coaching staff's not going to the Kings are going to win or lose with the players on the court. I've been very open about Doug being the head coach. I don't think he's ready to be a head coach. You know, assistant coaches all have their roles. I'm not saying they're not important, but it's not a big deal. Cody, I'm surprised that nothing in the woke America that we live in surprises me. Nothing at all. It's incredible. I mean, it really is. Do I think the Kings will trade Sabonis? No, I don't. No, I don't. Do I think that they should? I would not trade Sabonis unless I know I'm getting an all-star point guard in return. I wouldn't. Or a top flight point guard. I do not think that Sabonis should be traded unless you get a point guard that can run your team for quite a while. That's the only way I would trade Sabonis. How many times do we have to hear about the Kings blowing it up? Seems it's been a lot, hasn't it? Seems like it's been a lot. It's too often. Too often. But I do know this. You can't bring back the same team that you had last year. I mean, can we acknowledge that? Can we all agree on that? You just can't. You can't. If you do, you're making a mistake. You're making a mistake. Hey, don't forget about EDH Motors Automotive Reimagined. David and Adam, just two guys trying to do something different and better. You can sell your vehicle, call them, email them. If you're looking to buy a vehicle, you go to edhmotors.com. David and Adam, with their decades of automotive experience, will find exactly what you're looking for if you don't see it on the website. You'll take delivery at their auto lounge at the El Dorado Hills Town Center. It's a phenomenal experience. You don't deal with a dealership. It's completely different, this long overdue concept. Get in touch with David and Adam at edhmotors.com. That's EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined. Don't forget, post-game show coming up with Rhino tonight. Get your phone calls ready, your messages. I will not be joining him. We'll be off the next few days, but I will be back. I will be back at the end of the week, Thursday and Friday. Let's check in with McLean. Hello, McLean.
Hey, how are you doing?
What's happening?
Not much. I just wanted to say, first of all, frustrated again at the Kings after hearing about, the trade between the Orlando and what's the other team? I forgot.
Memphis.
Yes. My frustration is like, wow, and you got what for Fox? Anyway, I just wanted to talk to you about the U.S. Open real quick.
Yeah.
Like you, I really did like the long roughs. I just thought the greens, I thought they were way too tough. I didn't like it. It made it, it almost looked like they were playing like miniature golf. Just how the greens were. I feel like in the future, you can't have both. You can't have insane roughs and the greens like that, because I mean, guys are missing to have the winner. Only one guy score under par. That's
what the USGA wants. That's the USGA wants par to win the golf tournament. That's what their goal is at the U.S. Open. It really is. That's what they want.
What's your opinion? Because for me, it's not my cup of tea.
I love it. And I'll tell you what, the greens to me are not as big of an issue as the rough, because at Augusta, they're as difficult as any greens on the tour. If you go to Augusta, I mean, if you look at the undulations and the speed of the greens at Augusta, I mean, that's really no different than Oakmont. It really isn't. And if you go play at the Olympic Club, which I've had the pleasure of doing, I mean, they're treacherous, and you'll see the same thing next year at Shinnecock Hills. So the greens don't bother me, and I don't really think that they bother the players as much as the rough. These players are used to putting on, for lack of a better term, treacherous greens. What makes some of the greens almost unplayable, you didn't use that term, but I will, is the pin location. You can make a very, very difficult green less difficult just by the pin placement, or if you change the pin placement, you can make it almost impossible.
Would you have been for changing the placement, or just keep it like it is?
I like the setup at the U.S. Open. I love seeing I love seeing even par or 1 or 2 under win a golf tournament. I think it's refreshing. I wouldn't want to see it every weekend, but I
Right.
think once a year, I love it. I think it's a true form of golf. I do love it. I enjoy it personally.
One last question about the U.S. Open. Why didn't we see guys like, remember how you were even saying that Scotty was driving erratic before the tournament? Why didn't we, throughout the tournament, see guys dropping down to maybe a hybrid off the tee just to get it
Well,
straight?
because if you don't carry the ball a certain distance, you won't even hit the fairway on some of these holes. So first
Oh,
and foremost, you need the distance just to carry certain areas of rough, bunkers, etc. Plus, I think pride has a lot to do with it. Like you're not going to see Bryson DeChambeau put his driver away.
right.
He'd rather go down swinging than change his philosophy of. Same with Rory McIlroy. I mean, that's just the
Uh-huh.
way they play.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what, Grant? It was a pleasure seeing you. I
Thank
will
you.
talk again. And God bless you and everybody and
Thank you.
your family. And I hope you have a great night.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate it. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I told you a quick show. Rhino's got the post-game show as they're getting ready to start Game 5 in a couple of minutes. Appreciate all of you, and I will be back Thursday. Don't forget Jerry Reynolds tomorrow on the King's Court at 3 o'clock. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye now.